Okay, we've put together a kit for making the 20th scrapbook page using only scraps. I have 4 photos, a couple of variety mat cards, some papers in blue, and I have this piece of yellow. I'm going to try to get it used up. I love it. It's got this big circle in the center. So what I think I'm going to do is start off by trying to wallpaper this page. I'm going to put a 1-inch strip of this at the top and the bottom, and then put down my yellow. Going to put this as a band across the middle, and then I have these 2 pieces of cardstock. I'm going to cut the longer one down to be the same size as the shorter one, which is 8.5 inches. So let me cut this to 8.5 inches. And that should make a nice looking background here. Just out of curiosity, I want to double check. Yeah, this is coming in at 8 3/4. I'm glad I double checked. I'm going to cut this. It looks like it's 2 inches right now. I'm going to cut it basically in half down the middle to be 1 inch. So I'm going to lay this out first like I want it. And the intention is to completely cover this hole. So I will put that on the top. And then I want this in the middle. This looks like it's 4 inches wide. Going to put the lighter shade of blue on the top, making sure I'm covering that circle. And then the darker shade down here. And that's basically how I'm piecing all of these things together. So this is my dry fit of things kind of laid out like I want. And I see that if I make this border that came with the photo a little bit thinner, I should be able to fit this whole picture inside of this rectangle made up of these squares. And I would like that look. Everything else will fit inside just fine if I do that. So putting all of this together, it fits good. I think I really like that skinny border. I always have. And I think I may trim down these variety mat cards a little bit more when I get my photos adhered to give them the same feel of the skinny border. But I think I can piece together a nice layout with some yellow and blues. So the first step that I did was to put on the yellow and then the 1-inch blue strips on the top. So that pretty much frames in our page. Next, I'm going to put in centered, our center band. And because I'm going to put something underneath it, and actually, before I center it, let me take it down a little bit. See if that's where I want it. Notice that this scrap has an edge to it. And I think I want this. Okay. See, what I like about this is you're pretty much scrapping on the fly here. I want these pieces to cover from top to bottom because I'm barely covering the top of that circle, so I can't afford to leave a gap there. So that needs to be all the way touching or even slightly overlapping. I actually like the overlap better. So I'm going to overlap these blue strips with the navy strip and the blue strip, and then the decorative paper will come over and be, if I center it on the page, I'll have a gap right here. So I have to bring it down half an inch or so lower than center, just to make sure I'm covering everything. So I'm going to figure out where I want to put this paper for it to be centered. So I'm going to do the centering part. The way I'm using it right here is 0, and the paper is about 8 3/4. So half of 8 3/4 is about 4 3/8. So if I put this, I'll see the 4 3/8 line over here, and I see the 4 3/8 line right here. So that's where I want this to start. But if I count from on this side, it's from 0 over, I want it to be at the 1 5/8 inch. So I want to come over 1 5/8 inch from my edges. And the reason that's important to me is because I'm going to use this to help me position both the lighter blue, the regular blue, and the navy blue at 1 5/8 inches from the left. And the vertical position doesn't matter very much because I just wanted to overlap some, and I want it to be straight at the 1 5/8 inch spot right there. Both sides, 1 5/8 inch there. Now, the reason I put blue on the top and navy on the bottom has everything to do with the color. I wanted the color to be the heavier, darker color on the bottom. And so now they're aligned as though they were one piece of paper. And now we'll put our final decorative strip on. And bring it down instead of if I were to put this evenly, I'd have a gap. So I'm just bringing it down a half an inch. So technically I'm bringing it down 4.5 inches from the top. Okay, I trimmed down my mats to give them just the thinnest of a reveal around the edges. And I was able to get everything inside of these borders of this rectangle. And I have room for embellishments and titles and journaling. So I'm going to put it all down and begin the decoration process. So I have this variety mat card, and I decided that I actually like the other side better to be a journaling spot. I like the yellow. So I cut it in half, and now I want a white spot to journal on. So I'm actually going to trim away the second half and put the white on this yellow. And now I'm able to use that entire variety mat card because I am trying to make a point of using them up. So now I'm pretty happy. I've used 2 whole ones and a half one. So I'm now happy of not only using scraps, but using variety mat cards on this layout. And I'm going to let this wrap up our layout. I found a couple of 2-inch squares in my smaller scrap stash, so I used them to be bases for these sticker clusters. And I made this journaling spot, and I'm happy to be using up the scraps. I'm really happy to get the most out of this yellow that had the big circle cut out of it. This was number 20. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. And YouTube says there's another video you'd like, so I hope you'll watch it.